What are we doing in this episode, Spence?
So we are in Meroo National Park. That's on the south coast of New South Wales. It's between Ulladulla and Bateman's Bay. Gorgeous piece of national park on the ocean. So you've got that mix of the beach and the forest in behind it. Really devastated by the bushfires a couple of years back. But thankfully, with a couple of good seasons since then, it's amazing how the bush has come back and the animals with it. As you can maybe hear in the background, we're just surrounded by different sorts of birds that are just loving it in this bush with a couple of good seasons behind it. So Meroo, you've got all sorts of opportunities to be immersed in the nature, or because you're on the beach, you can go off fishing. There's also the lake country, which is in behind the beaches, different type of fishing. Lots of things to do, great camping sites run by New South Wales Parks and Wildlife. Within a few hours of Sydney, if that's where you live, you can get out to these sorts of places and have yourself a great time. So, south coast of New South Wales, Meroo National Park, where we are. Pretty good bird watching. There's a great bunch of parrots between, as you heard, the Corella, black cockatoos, white cockatoos, galahs, lorikeets, king parrots, rosellas. So got the predatory birds that hang around the sea. So that's things like your white-bellied sea eagle, ospreys, sometimes whistling kites, and you might even get the odd wedge-tailed eagle hanging around. And all this bushland is full of your smaller birds like your wrens, your scrub wrens, your thornbills. Yellow robin we saw.
Beautiful campsite.
Yeah, so what do you think about when you're setting up a campsite, Robbo?
Well, for me, the essential elements of a campsite have got to be water and campfire. So this campsite has water down here, has a campfire here, obviously.
So that water's aesthetic water or fishing water?
Yep.
You're not talking about drinking water?
Not drinking water. You can bring your drinking water in. I'm talking about having a fun place to camp where you might go for a swim, the kids might go for a swim, certainly fish. And a campfire is just an essential element. It's pretty much the hub of most campsites. Not only do you cook, but people come and sit at the end of the night.
You keep warm.
Keep warm. Have a chat about the day. So it's an essential element. Look at that little wren, beautiful. And you have a little wren come fly around your campsite like this. So this campsite was $6 for a night, booked online, and it's got the essential elements. It's also got a toilet, which isn't essential. It certainly does make it comfortable, especially when you're starting out. Comfort comes into play. So the tent has to be big enough to stand in.
For you or for me?
For me. And obviously good enough quality to keep you dry if the weather should turn. I wouldn't recommend going camping in dodgy weather, and you'll know that in advance, but the weather can well and truly turn. You also need to think about your cooking and then other comfort things like a chair and a table. So everyone should have a chair at a campsite. You need a table, and again, a really simple table. I still use my grandmother's card tables, which I've done up over the years, but they're just really simple and easy to erect and very robust. A coffee table is a good thing for your first sort of social session. You can play cards on it. You can have your nibbles on it in the evening. And again, a little hack with a coffee table there is it's actually a grill on the campfire. So before dinner, we're having nibbles. The lid comes off the coffee table. You can put that on the fire and you can cook dinner. So it has two purposes. It still comes in the one bag. And one element that a lot of people don't think about, what is really important in camping, is making sure you leave no trace. We have a little rule where we always try and leave a campsite cleaner than when we got here, and we've already picked up bottles to do that here. And it's got to go somewhere. It's got to go. And so we have a really simple bin system, which is a leaf spring where you put leaves in from the garden, so it compacts down to nothing. And then we keep multiple strong garbage bags in the actual garbage bin. We set up camp. What are we going to do tomorrow?
Well, we've got the tides working for us in the morning. First sun on the water. We need to be out there. Tell us about what the tides are doing.
Yeah, that's perfect. So it is a high tide at 6:30 odd, and that's when the sun comes up. So that'll be, we'll get a good half hour or an hour's fishing till the sun hits the water.
I reckon there could be some good bream out there.
Yeah, I reckon.
See you, keeper. Oh! Dunno. Salmon. Yeah, that's bigger.
Couple of nice bream to start the morning on
just
Beach.
after 6 o'clock on the beach with sandworms.
Going to be a classic sunrise.
Mine's a bit bigger than Robbo's.
No, mine's got a bigger mouth.
Which is not a surprise.
They seem to be all the same size out there. It's a little bream this time. I thought it might have been a tar one. He can go back to his mother. A bream that size is still about 2 years old. So we really think about if we're going to keep one. Well, the ones we've got there are probably 3 or 4. So.
Another nice bream.
Australian salmon. Great fighting fish. Not so good eating when you got bream. You might put it in a curry or something, but you wouldn't eat it as a fillet. Yeah, it's not such a good fish on the tooth, so he'll go back. But a good fight, good fun first thing in the morning. Little flathead, far too small. Spines on around his gills. My little spines right there. Little ones aren't so bad, but anything with any size will give you a nasty cut.
I've got a bird joke.
Joke.
Yeah,
So I've
because
got a laugh.
I think I got a photo of an Australian raven, and you know, ravens, they're going, ark, ark, ark.
How they go?
And there's a raven going, ark, ark, where's ark? And the other raven goes, ark's gone. And he goes, oh.
Oh shit.
So I just noticed this plant with the beautiful mauve purpley flowers. When I was a kid, we used to call this sarsaparilla plant. But it's actually, these days, known as a Hardenbergia, and common in many Australian gardens, very frost tolerant, loves climbing. And as you can see, it's climbing in this wattle tree, gorgeous wattle tree. And a little bit of an interesting thing to know about wattles is that they're part of the legume family. And legumes generate their own nitrogen in the soil with nodules in symbiosis with a bacteria. And the other thing about some legumes is they have what we call phyllodes, not leaves. So that's a phylode. And phyllodes, you know, because all the veins go in one direction towards the tip of the leaf, and it's actually a part of the stem of the leaf that's actually been reformed in a shape that will photosynthesize just like a leaf.
With a rolling hitch, and remember using it like a guy rope, is to go through once, just like a simple overhand knot, and then through again. And that's the basis of the rolling hitch, although the trick is to lock it. So I'll finish that with a half hitch, which does nothing except keep the rope, the better end of the rope out of the way. And so that's the basis, but that will slip. So you got to stop it from slipping so it acts like a guy rope. And the way to do that is to lock that over like that. So you're literally taking that.
To move one loop over the other.
Yeah, the lower loop, just literally, and it will sit nicely over that loop. Over that loop. And so once you've done that, it creates another angle which is harder for the rope to actually pull against, and that won't snap. And it can be adjusted. So you want to tighten your tarp up, do that. You want to loosen it up, you do that.
That's a ripper, that one. Let's just reflect on the day.
It wasn't a bad one, I must say.
Idiot.
And now it's gone.
This is what I got. The crap I've got to put up with. So that's a wrap, Robbo, for this episode.
Yep, good couple of days.
Great couple of days. I caught more fish than you.
No, I caught bigger fish than you.
That's just crap. But anyway, you believe that. You just keep believing that.
I only catch edible fish.
Yeah, right. This is sick.